Hello, it's Dawn here and welcome to the final demonstration in this series of using our watercolour pencils on different surfaces. Now if you thought yesterday's was balmy, you'll think this is insane. Today we're going to be using a stretched canvas. Yes, you heard me right, a stretched canvas. And that's what this is here. You can push it and it bounces. And I know lots of people say you can't use pencils on you can't use watercolour pencils or any pencil on canvas. Actually, yes, you can. As long as it's been properly primed, you can. And we're going to prove that today. And we're going to use a different method, slightly different method, for painting texture. We're going to finish off this little scene. And we're going to start off by finishing this rock here. Just move that out the way. I'll show you what that's for in a minute. So this is completely breaking the rules, which is always a good idea. If you can't find a technique within the rules that you want to do for the effect that you want, create your own. That's what I do. And the other way of looking at it is if you do something that no one else is doing, your paintings are going to stand out from the crowd. So we're going to use 2 layers of pencil this time to create our texture for our rocks. So 2 darkish browns, one very dark and one not quite so dark. I won't use the name colours, the colour names, because it'll depend on what brand of pencil you're using. But I would advise 2 fairly dark shades of brown for this. So shade them on fairly thick. This is going to be wet on dry. So we're going to start off with a dry pencil, and then we're going to pick up a round brush, and we're going to pay little attention to different types of brushes today. Well, 2 different types of brushes. And we're going to start off with this round brush here. And we're going to blend these 2 together with not too much water. You will still see a little bit of the texture of the canvas underneath, but that's okay. That will add to the texture of our rocks. That's absolutely fine. So we're going to do that, and this will take a while to dry because it's not porous, which means it doesn't seep in, because like yesterday's demonstration, this surface is designed for acrylics and oils, which obviously takes longer to dry, and so it's going to take longer to dry even in pencil. And so we're going to carry on, and I've already shaded one tone of the sand colour here, and I'm going to pick up another tone and quickly shade over the top of it, just like this. You can see the shades blending together even before I add the water. And just like before, because it's canvas, you can see the canvas texture and a bit of the white coming through or showing through. But once we've added the water, you won't see that. That will magically disappear, just like it does when you're painting in any other type of medium. Okay. So we're going to carry on doing that right up to the edge. Now this edge is a bit more, well, it's not difficult, but it's a different texture because you're painting, or you're leaning on the wooden frame that holds the canvas. When we say stretched canvas, it's actually stretched over a wooden frame, as I'm sure you know. So if you don't, you do now. So there you go, there's our pencil. And again we're going to use our round brush, and my water pot is just about off camera because I've had to raise the camera a bit to get this canvas in, and even then we missed the top of the sky, but never mind. And if I moved it up any higher I wouldn't be able to reach the on and off button, so which is why it's like it is. So we're going to put this on and we're going to do our sand, and we're going to spend a bit of time with this painting, not a lot of time, but maybe a little bit longer than usual, because I want to show you a few other tricks that also break the rules, especially in pencil. So here we go, we're going to do this and just carry on over there. Don't worry too much about if it goes over, because that's not going to show by the time we're done. And we're going to carry on. I could have used a bigger brush than this, but I didn't, so we'll carry on and we'll just finish this bit of sand along the front here. And if you can, I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background, but that's our neighbours. They're having some building work done, so you may hear a little bit of knocking. You may not hear it, but you might do. So if you do, that's what it is. Sorry about that. So we're going to carry on. We can talk over that. Ask any member of my family, I can talk over anything. So here we go. We're nearly done with this bit of sand, this beach in the foreground. And just to finish off that little bit there, and we could say that that's finished and it would be perfectly acceptable as a completed painting. but we're going to put a few extra bits and pieces into it. And I'm going to use next, this is a Neo Colour 2, they're made by Caran d'Ache, and it's a little bit like a watercolour wax crayon, but if you can't find Caran d'Ache anywhere, just use an ordinary white wax crayon, that's absolutely fine. And we're going to use that to put in the waves, and we're just going to put a bit of water and shade our white over the top. Just, you don't have to be too specific. You don't even have to use water if you don't want to. Just take your white over there like that. And we're just going to put that in odd bits here and there, not too much, otherwise we'll just end up with no blue. And we will have some right along the front here, just to link the beach to the sea, or the sea to the beach. So we will have that. You can use acrylic white if you want to, but I happen to have my Neo Colour 2 handy, so that's what I'm using. So just to link the sea onto the beach, we will use any white will do, but don't use a watercolour tube white because it'll probably just sink in. Unless you're very lucky and you've got a very good one and it's thick. But if not, use acrylic. Use an acrylic white, they're a lot thicker. So there we go, and we're going to just do one more trick. I did promise I would show you what this was for. Now this again is breaking the rules even more. And this, if I can show it to you without making a mess, this is acrylic iridescent medium. And we're going to use that. You can use, I'm using one of these brushes, but you can use an ordinary flat brush if you want. But I'm going to use this. This is a filbert. And what we do, we'll just do it in the foreground here, just underneath the rocks. And we just paint it on, a bit more like that, just make it a bit thicker. And spread it across. I'll only do it from here and then up to the foreground. And that just adds a bit of sparkle. And if we do it on its edge, in this sort of backwards and forwards motion like that, that will replicate the ripples on the water. So as you can see, you don't have to be too specific, but just make sure that you haven't got blobs of it sticking on top, because otherwise it will look a bit odd. So just smooth it in like that. We're nearly done. And make sure you come almost to the front, and maybe some in the middle. So this is just fiddling really, because it's quite good fun. And I've stiffened this brush because it's an old brush. It's an old acrylic brush which I cut down. So I've stiffened this to make it more effective. And I'm just going to, do wash your brush out. If you're going to use an acrylic medium, even on watercolour pencils, do wash your brush out, otherwise it will go rigid. It won't just go stiff, it will go rigid. And although I don't actually mind this brush going rigid, it's probably not a good idea. And if you get odd blobs like that, just use your round brush again and just paint them out like that. And then you have a bit of sparkle on the water there. And as a final indulgence, I'm going to use a grey pencil because this is a seascape. And we're going to do, I'm going to have to just bring that down a bit. And we'll just do one or two birds in the sky. And this is a dry on dry technique, and we're just going to go like that and like that. And we'll do another one there, maybe coming in the other way. And just one over here, right going off into the distance. So it's like a little sort of upside down V really. Like that. And we're done. I'm going to stop playing with it now. And there we have our seascape. Now, as you can see, I've lent on that and it's not dry. And you think, oh, you've ruined it. No, you haven't. Just take your brush and wash it out. And we really have finished this time. And there we have our seascape on our stretched canvas. And when you come back next time, we're going to be starting a completely new series of something completely different. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Have fun with your painting, stay safe, and I'll see you very soon. And until then, bye bye for now.